again and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be making something that is absolutely fabulous. Now this recipe takes a little bit longer to make than most of my recipes, but it is oh so worth it. But this is called seafood chowder. Oh my goodness. Now at this time of year when it's cold outside, it's damp, it's snowing, it's raining, you know, whatever your weather is at the moment, soups and stews are just, you know, that's what we love to eat during this time of year. And this is one of my husband's favorite chowders, this seafood chowder. Now, like all of my recipes, you know, I kind of change them up just a little bit than what the recipe calls for. In this case, I took two recipes and combined them together to make what my family likes. So this recipe is just a combination of two recipes. But anyway, you can still change this recipe up if you do not like a particular item, or if you don't want to cut down on a certain amount of, for instance, onions. You know, we love onions, but if you don't like onions, you don't have to use them, or you can divide how much onions you put in there. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get started, and I'm going to show you how I make seafood chowder. Okay, to get started on our seafood chowder, the first thing that you're going to need is a huge pot, because this makes a lot of chowder. Now, if you do not want to make this much chowder, you can of course cut this recipe down in half just to make the amount that you need. But I do like to freeze this, you know, for a night that I'm not able to have any time to cook. So the first thing that you're going to do is go ahead and put your heat on about a medium high, and we are going to render some bacon. It's about a pound or half a pound of bacon, and I've got it all chopped up. Now remember, when you are doing this recipe, if you do not like something that's in it, then you can leave it out or you can change it. So this will be totally your own recipe, because like I said, I took two different recipes and I combined them together. So, you know, just gonna have to fix it the way that you prefer and your family prefers. So we've got our bacon in there and we're going to render it. Now that just means that we're just going to cook it until it's nice and crispy and all that fat is down in this pot, because that's what's going to give this a lot of flavor. So you know, this could take 8 to 10 minutes to render the bacon, but you just want it nice and crispy and all that fat cooked out of it. So that's what we're going to go ahead and let this just cook away. Okay, y'all, so our bacon is nice and crispy. Can you see that? Oh my goodness. Now all this brown on the bottom will come up, and it'll be just that's going to be oh so much extra flavor in our seafood chowder. So it's going to be oh so yummy. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add some leeks, and it's about a cup of leeks. Oh yeah, listen to that sizzle. That is what I am talking about. And also we're going to add, I usually put about a cup and a half to 2 cups of onions, because we are huge onion fans. You do not have to add the onions if you do not like them, or you can add less onions than that. So remember, this recipe is yours, so you can change it if you need to. And also we're going to add about, a couple of cups of chopped celery. Oh my. Love celery in my chowder. And also we're going to add about a cup and a half of carrots. Now on your carrots, you can use fresh carrots or you can use frozen carrots. Now I did not have any fresh carrots on hand, so I just had some frozen in the freezer, so I went ahead and used those carrots. Now I am mixing this up really good and getting all of that brown flavor that was on the bottom. I am getting that off, because that is just where a lot of the flavor is. Oh my goodness, yummy, yummy. So about a cup and a half of carrots. And like I say, you can use frozen or fresh. And we are going to just let this kind of simmer just a little bit till our vegetables are kind of wilty looking. They will cook down and get all nice and tender when we're actually letting our chowder cook up. But I do like to let them wilt just a little bit. And it is smelling oh so yummy in here. Oh my goodness. Now on the carrots, if you want to add more carrots, you can do that. Less carrots, you can do that. No carrots, you can do that. So you can put something else in here that you prefer or that you like. So, oh my goodness. Oh, I wish you guys could smell this. Look at my house smell. Oh, so wonderful. All right, so we're just gonna let that kind of saute there for just a little bit, and our vegetables are gonna wilt, and you can go ahead and put some salt and pepper in at this point. You may need to do that again later on, right before maybe you serve it. And you know, you just don't want to overdo salt and pepper because you know, salt and pepper can always be added by the person that's eating it, because everybody kind of is very individual on that. You know, my husband doesn't like as much salt or pepper as I do, so I try not to over salt or over pepper. Oh yeah, that's what I am talking about. Okay, so we're just gonna let that simmer for a little bit. Okay, so I've let our vegetables kind of cook down a little bit here, and oh, they look awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and add 3 bay leaves. They're just little leaves that you want to take out maybe before you actually serve it, if you can find them. And if not, when you're scooping it up, you just take those out. But we're gonna add 3 bay leaves there to give it some wonderful flavor. And also we're going to add a tablespoon of chopped thyme. Now you can use fresh thyme or the dried up thyme. I didn't have any thyme, so I just used what I had in the cupboard, which was some dried, which is fine as well. But if I have fresh, I'll use the fresh. Now also we're going to add some flour, about a half a cup of flour, and this is going to be to thicken it up. Now when you add the flour at this point, it's going to get really thick and look kind of goopy and yucky, but that's just the thickener, and that will smooth out really good. But we're going to go ahead and add it, and then we're going to just let this kind of simmer just for a couple of minutes after we add this. Want to let it cook for a couple of minutes and cook some of that flour taste out, so that when you taste your chowder, you're not tasting flour. So you see how it kind of gets really thick and goopy? That's okay, that's what you want. And like I say, we're just going to let this cook for just a couple of minutes here. Get that flour taste out of there. Okay, so we've let our flour cook for about 2 minutes, and I did continue to stir it while it cooked. Now to that we're going to add about, maybe a pound of potatoes that have been cut up. Now I cut my potatoes up fairly small because I do not like a big hunk of a potato in my soup, so I cut mine fairly small, but you can cut them bigger if that's the way you like them. Okay, so I got our potatoes in there. Mix that up really well. And also now we're going to add 4 bottles of clam juice. Now you can get this in your grocery, like where they sell tuna fish and things like that. You can get the clam juice, and I use 4 bottles, and they're let's see, they are 8-ounce bottles of clam juice, and I'm just gonna pour them right in. There we go, and just mix that up really well. Now, I'm just going to let this simmer. I don't want my heat up very high, so we're just going to turn it down just a little bit there. And I'm going to just let this cook down until my vegetables are tender, and pay special attention to those potatoes, because you definitely want those done, those potatoes and carrots. So just gonna let this simmer and make my house smell wonderful. And then I'll just keep testing those potatoes, and when they are nice and soft, we will go ahead with the next step on our seafood chowder. Okay, now our potatoes are nice and tender, and it's just looking absolutely wonderful already. So now we are going to go ahead and add 2 cups of milk, and this can be whole milk, skim milk, you know, whatever you drink. We drink skim milk, so that's what I use in this instance. And also we're going to add 4 cups of heavy whipping cream, and that is a quart. And I just buy it in a little container like this. So we're gonna add the whole thing right down into our chowder. Oh my, my, my. Yumminess, yumminess. Okay, now we're just going to bring this back up to, well, not really a boil, but I just want it to simmer. I want that milk to get nice and warm. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh my goodness. And then we're going to go ahead and start adding our seafood. But first I want this to get nice and kind of really nice and warm. Okay, now our clam chowder is just nice and warm here. We're gonna go ahead and add our seafood. Now, you may not like the same seafood that we like, so you can just put in anything that you like at this point. I put in shrimp and scallops and some clams. So if there's any of that you do not like, you do not have to add it, but we love all seafood, so you can put in anything that you like. And if you decide not to add any seafood at all, this right here is good just like this. So you do not have to make it a seafood chowder. You could just make it a potato chowder, you know, whatever you want. So I'm gonna go ahead now. I add chopped clams to mine. It's already in a can, already chopped. So the clams and the juice go into my chowder, and I add 4 cans of that. So that's just gonna go all right in there just like that. Oh my goodness gracious. And my shrimp. Now my shrimp, I get pre-cooked in a bag, just like this. It's already cooked and peeled for me, and I just use 2 bags of this, and that's a 14-ounce bag. So I do use 2 bags because my husband and I love shrimp. So it's gonna go in there, and it is a little frozen, and that's okay. It doesn't matter because it's gonna de-thaw in here in no time. So, oh my goodness gracious. And also I add scallops. I love scallops. Scallops is my favorite seafood. But I also get them in a bag just like this. And it's a 10-ounce bag. And I add 2 bags of scallops. Just pour them right in there. That's my favorite seafood. All right. So looking awesome. And also I add 2 tablespoons of parsley. Now you can use fresh parsley if you prefer. Now I just didn't have any, so I just used the dried parsley, which is fine as well. But if you have fresh, that just adds a lot of yumminess to this chowder. Now at this point, I'm just gonna let everything meld together and just sit here and simmer. Supper's not for about another 3 hours, so it's just gonna sit on simmer on low on my stove and make my house smell oh so yummy, and it's gonna be so good. My husband's gonna know immediately when he opens the door that we are having seafood chowder for supper. So this is seafood chowder. Absolutely wonderful, especially if you are a big seafood lover like we are. So I hope that this gives you some ideas to make your own seafood chowder. Like I say, change it, make it up into whatever your family likes, and you are going to love this. Oh, so yummy. Okay, y'all, so I fixed me up a nice bowl of the seafood chowder, and it is smelling so good. Now what I like to do with my seafood chowder is I just take some shredded cheese, and you can use any kind of cheese that you want, but I like mild cheddar, and I just sprinkle some right on the top of my soup, kind of let that melt, and then I just have it with crackers, or you can have it with French bread that's been toasted. Oh my goodness. But anyway, if you can see, oh my goodness, this is so yummy. Absolutely love seafood chowder, and I think that you will like it too if you give it a try. So I'm gonna give it a taste here. Now, like I said before, on the salt and pepper, if you need to add more salt and pepper to yours, you can go right ahead at this time and do it, or because my husband doesn't like as much as I do. So anyway, oh my goodness. Fabulous. You are going to love this if you love seafood. Oh my goodness. So anyway, guys, that is it for seafood chowder. Hope that you will give it a try. Make it your own. If you want to change up a few things, that's just fine. It will taste yummy if you put in what you like. So anyway, I will see you guys again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye now.